Tank Megatrons have had it rough. It's why this is a welcome surprise. So Prime Changes Megatron is, well, this Megatron, and it's only been released, well, in the UK, technically in the last week. I've had this for about a week, like I've just said, and yeah, it's really, really good. It's one of the best Tank Megatrons, well, ever really. I mean, well, deluxe Tank 4 Megatrons anyway. Voyager and Leader class, alright, that's a bit different, but deluxe class Tank Megatrons, they've all had some sort of compromise, and really, how hard is it to do a good Tank Megatron in deluxe or smaller? I mean, if we're talking smaller, there's not really been any sort of Megatron that's done it well. And before you say the third party legend scale Megatron that's done it well, no it ain't. No it ain't. In fact, it's one of my worst Megatrons. But that's a story for another time. Starting with the robot mode then, and that's a pretty nice face sculpt. The camera is showing off the face a bit better than it is when you've got it in person. Quite frankly, the white needed a wash on it to darken it down or something, because while it's quite nice, you can't really make out the face unless you looked at it a certain direction. This, to me, the figure feels wholeheartedly like a redo of the second Authentics Megatron, which that Megatron was alright, but it was basically this with less articulation and worse plastic, basically worse and bigger. But anyway, we come on to the chest, a very nice clear Decepticon symbol, and very nice red paint on the front here. These aren't painted, unfortunately, but these bits have got a bit of blue and red and yellow on. Yeah, there's no paint on the sides here, but yeah, fine. Black plastic for the lower torso, as you'd expect. Come on to the arms, and yeah, he does have hands, but they are annoyingly housed by these bits. I wish these went back a bit, but I mean, it's not the worst thing. I think it's not that bad, because I mean, he's got his own hands that have got their own articulation, so you don't really notice it, I think. So yeah, we'll come on to the back of the torso, and it's fairly clean apart from this bit. I think it's best that it was there just so he's got a bit of oomph on his back rather than it being completely flat. Yeah, as you can notice, not much kibble whatsoever, apart from this bit and these bits really, but because of how thin they are to the legs, it's not that much of an issue really. I suppose the only thing you could say is an issue is not much paint on him, mainly on the head and on the torso. Everywhere else is no paint whatsoever, not even on the tracks. And yes, you'll notice it more in alt mode, but he does have wheels. This has been very rare for tanks for so long. They've only started coming back. I think they started back with Megatronus, I think. But anyway, he has many accessories. One of which is his fusion cannon, and this looks somewhat similar to his Cyberverse fusion cannon, which, if you're going to take them, why not from this one? It's pretty decent. His next accessory is a pair of these missile pod things, which I'll just put them where they're supposed to be. Just put them onto the legs. They are 5mm ports, so you could have them holding them if you really want to, but yeah, they've got red paint on it, so there you go. He also comes with, oh god, these really do feel awful, this blast effect. they do not feel like normal blast effects, and they just, oh, this just feels bad. Oh, I mean, how well does it go in the fusion cannon? It goes pretty well, so it works if that's what you're looking for, but just feels ropey, the plastic does. And he does come with this, oh god, this feels even worse, this rubbery mace thing, which just goes in his hand. I really do not like how this feels. It goes into his hand like that. I wish it didn't include this, just came with a sword or something, because I don't like this. Last accessory comes with is this little nubbin. If I just zoom in. So this little nubbin actually was on the fusion cannon. This was not a separate piece. This is a 5mm port, so if you've got some use for it, well, hey. But yeah, this piece just popped right off. And what happens is, in vehicle mode, this little post is where this blast effects goes on. So he's like got a rocket booster, and then this goes on here, and then yeah, because the fusion cannon elongates out a little bit, but you'll see that when it comes to the alt mode. But when I came to pull it off, this bit came off, and to be honest, if it weren't for the fact I've got an extra 5mm port, that would have been slightly annoying. I might glue it back on, I might not, but if you're going to include crappy blast effects, make sure they don't damage the figure. I mean, it's not damaging to anything that it'll matter, but really shouldn't be a thing. Really shouldn't be a thing. So I'll just put his fusion cannon where it should be. It can't go onto his other arm. It can go into his hand, but you do lose the articulation. But this section is all about the robot mode. And yeah, the robot mode looks pretty nice. Could you say it's an evergreen Megatron design? Maybe. But yeah, it's pretty decent. It's like the Authentics one, but a bit more stylised. Kind of taking little bits from Cyberverse as well. So it's nice enough. I'm going to give the robot mode 22 out of 25. I think if that bit on the top of fusion cannon hadn't come off and maybe a bit more paint on the legs, maybe, then I'd probably bulk it up another couple of points. But oh, and the face, of course. But other than that, I mean, 22 out of 25. You can't complain about that, can you? So coming on to the articulation then, and this is very good. The head seems like it should be on a ball joint, but I think it's a swivel. Yeah, it's a swivel. It does go all the way around. Yeah, it is a swivel. You can tell with the hollowness. Shame it's hollow, but yeah, it is what it is. The arms can go all the way around at the shoulders. The shoulders, these hinges here, which means you can do a full T-pose, which is nice. Bicep rotation, and I think it's 90-degree bend, might be slightly less. He does have wrist articulation, but because of these things, his hands are stuck unless you poke something in there to turn them around. It's not really going to be much use, so I won't worry about it. Does have a waist. Not actually usable in the transformation, but it's nice that he's got it. Legs can go that far out due to how the hip skirts are. These are for the transformation to hook on for the tracks. He does have slightly less than 90-degree, I think, bend. Thigh rotation. And he does, the feet can go that far forwards. Can't really go back too much, and the ankle goes that far, so he can get some pretty nice opposing power. And just see if I can get him into a nice pose, which he does pose pretty well. Can I zoom in out in it? There we go. So I just plug that thing in there. I really don't like it, but there you go. I mean, you can get better poses than that. This just looks like I'm taking photos for Hasbro, let's be honest, but yeah, there's worse things. There's worse things. But yeah, articulation's very nice. Only thing I think I would have wanted is the wrists being a bit freer to articulate. Maybe a ball joint for the head. But apart from that, it's up to snuff, up to standard, and yeah, it's just really good. Articulation, I'm going to give a 24 out of 25. On to the transformation. So what we want to do first is come to this back piece and fold it out, so it's like so. You can't have the head twisted the other way around because of how these hinges and whatnot are placed, so it won't go down far enough if you do that. Next we come onto the arms. We fold this one up, and you want to rotate the fusion cannon. Then you want to, at that and this black piece under the fusion cannon, what you want to do is pull it up. So this, if I just zoom in, this piece here folds all the way around, and then while you're doing that, rotate the fusion cannon, well, rotate the lower arm, and then this is the harder bit because it's all in black on the fusion cannon. You've got this port here and this port here. They go into, so this port goes onto this post and this goes into there, you see. So if you've moved everything just in, I can't really show it on camera, but if you've got them in the right place, you'll be able to push them in together. Then what you'll want to do is just move the legs down. Focus camera. Thank you. So I don't know if you can see it, but there's a post right here on the this black bit, which goes into this port on his onto his rear, like so. Then come on to this arm. See, this bit's the only bit that's kind of frustrated. Well, not frustrated. A little bit irritating, shall we say. But once you've done it, it's fine. So then come on to this arm, and it's basically the same thing, but without the fusion cannon. So you just get it so all the arm bits will line up with the post and the ports. And then just bring it all together, and then it'll go together like that. It'll also stop the waist from moving. And there you have Gur Tank mode. It's the first time I've ever done a Gur anything mode, actually. So then what you want to do, we'll come on to the legs because there's nothing else to do. Rotate one leg because it's better to do one than the other. What's easier. Then what you want to do is try and prise the legs open. A little bit finicky, but once you've done it, try and do it on camera, dear fellow. You might think it's this bit that folds out, but no, it's the thick bit of the track that folds out, like so. This does take a bit of a cue from the Studio Series Megs. So this foot is trying to stay flat, but it can't because of this bit. So what you want to do with the foot is fold it around so it's like that. Then, just keep the other leg out of the way so you've got some manoeuvring room. Pull this section out a little bit, like so, because it's in there, and then it will go into there. Just rotate it around and guide it in, and then, as you can see it there, so just give it a bit of a squeeze, and there you go. This will make sure everything's nice and secure. So then you take the heel and just fold it down, and then you take the missile and rotate it so it is facing where the end of the track is facing. So it's like that. So we'll do the other leg. So again, rotate it around, pull the big section up, then rotate the foot so it's all the way around and flatten out the track bits. Then rotate, pull out this section a bit, so a little bit of pulling out, flexing, but it's fine, it's tough. And then push it in there once it's reached its right location. Rotate the missiles and rotate the leg, ankle. Then what you want to do is there is a port right here that goes into a post here. It's really small, you can see. Yeah. And then there's this section here. I'll just zoom in. This section here, which will plug into this section where this pin is, which is very clever. They've disguised a pin section as something for the transformation, which is nice. So at this hinge here, a lot of this figure is pinned, which is surprising. So not much will pop off. Again, surprising. The missiles just dropped off. That's never happened before. Anyway, first thing you want to do is make sure this post is pushed in, and then come to the underside, and then if you've got this right, it'll just push in. If not, it won't. Like so. If you've got it in, you'll know you've got it in. So on the other foot, on the other foot, on the other leg, just do the same thing. Fold it in and then get both lots of the tabs going together like so. I don't know why this foot has decided to go haywire on me. There we go. The feet sort of like go under the upper torso. It's just weird like that. Hang on, there's my missiles. My missiles. Ah, there's my missiles. Right. Yeah, the missiles have never dropped off before, but they're easy to put back in. Won't be an annoyance. And last thing, I forgot about this. Last thing you do is at this thing, push until it clicks here. And then you'll get the end of the fusion cannon out. Like so. So, yeah. Apart from the fusion cannon arm having a bit of fiddliness to actually do, the rest of the transformation's quite enjoyable. Everything just works as is, and yeah, it's just really nice. Transformation, I'm going to give a 23 out of 25. Onto the vehicle mode then, and I'll just, before we go on to it proper, I'll just show you the, I would argue what the inspiration for this is. This one. Now, if you look at the front, you can kind of tell how things are. There's not as much paint on here. You can also tell with the missiles, kind of, and the side flaps. Sort of with the turret, although it's a bit of a stretch. It's also got these fuel tank thing or batteries at the back, and I've only just noticed so does this one. So you can, and the fusion cannon barrel does extend kind of in the same way, sort of, but yeah, I mean objectively this one's better, but I still like this one just because of how I just like how low and big the tank is. I mean, it feels like a knockoff, but I'm sure I'll do a review, possibly at some point, he says. Anyway, on to the vehicle mode, and it's a very nice looking tank mode. It's a bit Cybertron kibbly, but I think it's nice. I think this will impress a lot people a lot more than the 86 Megatron tank mode will, just because a lot of people don't seem to like how the turret is formed, and I kind of get it, but I still like that one. There's a lot less paint on show here. It's mainly the tracks and the missiles. I'll just zoom in. Yeah, the track detail is not painted, unfortunately, but there's still a lot of detail. And then you've got the big fusion cannon. You don't see any of the arm bits, which I suppose is the upside of having their hands trapped in there, I guess. The back is a bit untidy, but it's not the worst we've ever seen, let's be honest. The end of the cannon bit being grey, fine. And then on the other side, underside, it's, yeah. Yeah, there's nothing subtle about it, but let's be honest. Are you going to notice? No. No, you're not. So, you can place the blast effect, like I said, onto the back of the fusion cannon, which it sticks on there, which it's got a bit of hold on it, but not that much. And it has wheels, so it can zoom along quite well. And this bit. You can also put the wibbly mace into this bit here. Although, why would you? This is the first time I've tried to do this. Doesn't feel like it goes in all that well, but there you go. You can fit it on that side as well if you want, but no, I don't think I'm ever going to use that in general because, but yeah, I think it's a nice little tank mode. It's Cybertronian, but you can tell it's a tank. Unfortunately, the turret does not move due to how transformation works and whatnot, but considering the package in general, I think I can live with having no turret articulation. Have it just zoom around as an artillery piece, and yeah, it zooms around quite well. So yeah, I'm going to give the tank mode a 23 out of 25. In conclusion, Prime Treasure's Megatron is a really good figure. I'd like to see this actually done in sort of like Voyager scale, see what else they could do, see what other bits they could add to the transformation, maybe a better articulation, maybe a bit more paint, but as it goes, it's really, really good. This pretty much came out of nowhere. In fact, I'd be surprised if a lot of people don't actually know about this one. Considering what it is, and so many times the tank Megatron's been fumbled, it's quite surprised this has turned out as well as it has done. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I think we've got to accept no tank Megatron is going to be absolutely perfect. But as this is up to yet, this is close to perfect for tank Megatrons, at the deluxe scale anyway, as we're going to get. And to a lot of Voyagers, and maybe even leader class, perhaps. Another thing I should mention is the weight of this thing. This feels a bit heftier than normal deluxes, and to an extent some Voyagers actually. There's no die cast in it, but again, it does feel it's got some oomph to it. The posing power is pretty darn good. Having that extra bit for the feet and how the arms work, yeah, can't fault them. The paint on the face and a little bit on the legs, on the body, yeah, could do with a bit, but it's fine. The thing that, I won't say drags this figure down, but the thing that hurts this figure is these two things. But other than that, it's a quality figure. If you can get it, I'd recommend probably spending no more than 20 quid, although I did spend 25 on Amazon. Is it worth 20? 5, negligible. That's the price of a normal deluxe these days, and it does have all the articulation. It just doesn't have all the weapon ports that you'd expect, and the wrist articulation is somewhat hampered. Apart from that, it's a very good Megatron, a very, very good Megatron. I give Prime Traeger's Megatron 92 out of 100.